Hi listeners, hopefully you are fine. Today we discuss about the science, what the meaning of the science and how it will make the protection for our daily life and how we will use makes our life it will illuminate it. With the help of science, so now what can we will be performing it? So let's we study. Like the science, the word science has been used in the Middle English science, the 14th century, in the sense of the state of the knowing. The word was borrowed from the Anglo-Norman languages as the suffix science, which has been borrowed from the Latin and the scientia, meaning the knowledge, awareness, understanding. It is now derivative of the Latin scientist, meaning knowing, and undisputedly derived from the Latin social. The present participates care meaning to know. There are many hypotheses of the science's ultimate word origin according to the Michael D. Van Dutch linguist and the Indo-Europeist. So we have this origin of the Proto-Italic languages as Askiji, which may organize from the Proto-Indo-European languages. The lexicon der Indominasis Bourbon proposed to be sold as be meaning to not know, be unfamiliar with, which means derived from the Proto-Indo-Europeans 6 in Latin scales. The history of the science, like earliest roots, for example, we said that proto-science has existed since the ancient history. This is shown by the construction of the complex calendars, techniques for the making presents, plans, renewal, and public works on the national scales. The earliest roots of the science can be traced from the ancient Egypt and the Mesopotamia. All through the words on the concept of the science and the nature were not part of the conceptual landscape in that time. The ancient Egyptians and Mesopotamians made the contribution that would be later find a place in the Greek and the medieval science, mathematics, astronomy, and the medicine form. And the 3rd millennium BCE, the ancient Egyptians developed the decimal numbering systems, solved practical problems using the geometry, and developed a calendar. Their healing prophecies involved direct treatments and the supernatural, such as the prayers, incantations, and the rituals. The ancient Mesopotamia used the knowledge about the properties of the various natural chemicals of the manufacturing pottery, fans, glass, soap, metals, lime pastures, and waterproofing. They studied animal psychology, anatomy, behavior, and the astrology of the divinity purposes. The Mesopotamia has intense interest in the medicine. The Mesopotamians had an intense interest in the medicine, and the earliest medical prescriptions appeared in the Sumerian during the 3rd dynasty of the world. They seem to study scientific subjects. We have the practical and the religious applications and have a little interest of the satisfying the curiosity. Classical antiquity, like in classical antiquity, there is no real ancient analog to the modern scientists. Instead, the well-educated, usually upper class and almost universally male, the individual perform various investigations into the nature whenever they will record before the time before the inventions of the discovery of the concept of the forces or the natures by the pro-Socratic philosophers. The same words tend to be used to be describe the natural way in which plants grow and the way in which, for example, one tribe worship or the particular god. For this reason, it is claimed that these men were first philosophers in the strict sense and first to the clearly distinguish nature and the conventions. Middle Ages. Due to the collapse of the Western Roman Empire, the 5th century saw the intellectual decline in the Western due to the collapse of the Western Union Empire. During this period, Latin encyclopedias such as the Insidos of the Civilly preserved the majority of the general ancient knowledge. The contrast is the Byzantine Empire resist the attack from the invaders. They were able to preserve and improve their learning. John Philoponus by the Byzantine scholars in the 500 started the question as to the teaching for the physics, nothing on the flare. Renaissance. New developments in the optics played the role in the inceptions of the Renaissance, both by the challenging long-held metaphysics ideas and the perception, as well as contributing to the improvement and the development of the technology such as the camera, observer, and the telescope. At the start of the Renaissance, Roger Bacon, Vitelli, and John Peckham each built up the scholarship's ontology upon the causal chain, beginning with the sensations. Age of Enlightenment. At the start of the Age of Enlightenment, Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz succeed developing the classical mechanics. The theory could be confirmed by the experiments and explained using the mathematics as presented in the Philosophy, Naturals, Principia Mathematics. Leibniz incorporated terms in the Aristotelian physics, but now being used in the new teleological way. This implied a shift in the view of the subjects. Objects were considered having no innate goals. During this time, he declared purpose and the value of the science became the producing wealth and the invention that would be improve human lives. The materialistic sense of the having more food, clothing and other things. The 18th century saw significance of the inventions of the practice of the medicine, mathematics and the physics, the development of the biological taxonomy by the Carl Linnaeus, a new understandings of the mechanism and the electricity. 19th century, during 19th century, many distinguishing characteristics of the contemporary modern science began to take the shape. Some of them are the transformations of the life and the physical sciences. The frequent use of the precision instrument, emergence of the terms such as biologists, physicists, scientists, increases the professionalism of those studying nature. Scientists gain the cultural authority over many dimensions of the society. Industrialization of the numerous countries having a popular science writings and the emergencies of the science journals. If we discuss about the 20th century, in the first half of the century, the development of the antibiotics and the artificial fertilizer have improved human standard of the living. Globally, harmful environment issues such as ozone depletions, oceans acidifications, eutrophizations and climate change came up the public attention and the cause to the onset of the environmental studies. 21st century, we discuss about the human genome project was completed in 2003 by identifying the mapping all the genesis of the human genome. The first induced pluripotent human stem cells were made in 2006, allowing the adult cells to transfer into the stem cells and turn to the any cells type found in the body. With the foundations of the Higgs boson discovery in 2013, the last practically predicted by the Stanford model of the practice physics was found. In 2015, the gravitational waves predicted by the general relativists at the century before were first observed. Natural sciences. The natural sciences is the study of the physical world. It can be divided into two main branches, life sciences and physical sciences. These two branches may be further divided into more specialized disciplines. For example, physical sciences can be subdivided into physics, chemistry, astronomy and earth sciences. Modern natural sciences is a successor of the natural philosopher. Social sciences. Social sciences is basically the study of the human behavior and the functions of the society. It has been many disciplines that include but are now today limited to the anthropology, economics, history, human geography, political sciences, psychology and the sociology. In the social sciences, there are many competing theoretical perspectives, many of which are extending through the competing research programs such as functional conflict theories and interactions of the sociology. Scientific method. Scientific research involves using the scientific method which seeks to objectively explain the events of the nature in a reproductive way. Scientists usually take for the granted of the set of the basic assumptions that are needed to justify the scientific method. There is an objective reality shared by the rational observers. The objective reality is governed by the natural laws. Challenges. If the replication crisis is ongoing, the methodology is a crisis that affects of the parts of the social and the life sciences. In subsequent investigation, the results of the many scientific studies are proved to be unpredictable. The crisis has long-standing roots. Like the phrase was coined by the early 2010 as a part of the growing awareness of the problem. The replication crisis is represent an important body of research meta sciences. Philosophy of sciences. There are different schools of thoughts in the philosophy of the sciences. The most popular position is empiricism, which holds that the knowledge is created by the process involving observation and that scientific theories are the result of the generalization from such observations. Scientific community. The scientific community is basically there is a network of interacting the scientists who conduct the scientific research. The community consists of smaller groups working in a scientific fields by having peer review. Through the discussions and the debate within the journals and the conferences, scientists maintain the equality for the research methodology and objectively when interpreting the results. If we discuss about the Awards like the Science Awards are usually given to the individual to the organization has made significant contribution as a discipline. They are often given by the prestigious institutions as is considered a great honor of the scientists receiving them. Since the early sciences, scientists are often awarded medals of money and titled the Nobel Prize. The widely regarded a prestigious award, it is awarded annually to those who have achieved the scientific advances in the fields of medicine, physics, chemistry, and economics. Here we discuss about the funding and the policy. Scientific research is often found through a competitive process in which potential research projects is evaluated and only most promising receive funding. Such processes will be run by the government, corporations and foundations allocated the scarce funds. Total research funding on the most developed countries is between 1.5% and 3% of GDP. Like education and awareness, the education of the science to the general public include work, sciences, content, scientific methods, and some pedagogy. As the student goes to the high stage of the formal education, the curriculum becomes the more in the depth. The traditional subjects that are usually included in the curriculum are the natural and the formal sciences. Although there are some recent movement to the include the social and applied sciences as well as. The mass media face pressures prevent from the accurately depicting the competing scientific claims in the terms of their credibility with the scientific community as well as whole. Determining how much weight to give for different sides in the scientific debate may require considerable expertise regarding the matter. Few journalists have the real scientific knowledge, and even beat reporters who are knowledgeable about the certain scientific issues may be ignorant about other scientific issues that they were recently asked to cover. Science magazines such as New Scientist, Science and Why and Scientific American cater up the needs to be much wider readership and provide a non-technical summary of the popular areas of research, including notable discoveries, and science books will be engaged interest to many more people. Science fiction, general, publicly speculative fictions can transmit the general public. Politics science researches in the include making finding the dismission reports, interpretations of the subjective, like many factors can react as effect of the politicians of the science, such as anti-intellectualism, prescribed theories of the religious beliefs, and fear of the business interest. Politicalization of the science is usually accomplished when the scientific information is presented in a way that emphasizes the certainly associated with the scientific evidence. Tactics such as shifting conversation, failing to acknowledge facts, the capitalism of the doubt of the scientific consensus have been used to gain more attention for the views that have been undermined by scientific evidence. Example of issues that have involved the politician of the sciences include the global warming controversy, health effects of the pesticides, and the health effects of tobacco. Hopefully you like my articles about the science. If you have some queries and questions, you can make the in the comment section. You can also make the click the like the bell icon, and also describe my and also subscription my to the channel. I will further assist you for the new information. Okay, goodbye.